The Chicago rain was heavy and my dress was wet against my skin. I ran with no umbrella, trying to hide under a shop roof. Then, out of nowhere, a stranger grabbed my hand, pulled me close, and kissed me without a word. My heart beat fast. Was it love? Or was it danger? Stay with me, because the ending of this story will shock you. And while you follow each event, you will also learn English through very simple words and sentences. Before I start my story, I ask you something small. If you love emotional stories that touch the heart, please like this video. And if you want others to feel this too, just share it with a friend. One click can spread a story across the world. My name is Clara, and I moved to Chicago for work. The city was big, full of noise, lights, and unknown faces. One evening, dark clouds covered the sky, and heavy rain began to fall. I ran under a small shop roof, holding my coat tight. People rushed with umbrellas, cars splashed water on the street, and thunder shook the air. While waiting, I saw a man standing alone without cover. His black jacket was wet, but he didn't move. Something about his stillness made me look twice, and my heart felt nervous without reason. The man suddenly turned his head and looked at me. His eyes were deep, sharp, yet soft, like he wanted to say something without words. The rain grew stronger, so I stepped back into the shop doorway, hoping he would leave, but he began walking toward me. My phone buzzed and I pretended to check it, though my fingers shook. When he came close, water dripped from his hair onto his face. He smiled faintly and said, "Looks like we are both trapped by the storm." His voice was calm, yet heavy, and it pulled my chest tight. I nodded, unsure what to say. He leaned slightly on the wall near me but kept distance. Cars honked, and water rushed down the street like a river. A couple walked by, laughing under one umbrella, and for some reason my face grew warm. The stranger noticed and said, "Rain can feel lonely when you stand alone." His words felt strange, but his tone was gentle. Just then, lightning flashed and I gasped softly. He asked, "Are you scared?" I whispered, "Maybe a little." He chuckled, his eyes never leaving mine, and for a moment, silence spoke louder than words. The rain didn't stop. My bus had already gone, and the street grew emptier. He looked at me and said, "Do you want to walk? I know a small cafe nearby." I hesitated, thinking of danger, but his eyes looked honest. My stomach growled loudly, making me blush. He laughed lightly and said, "That answers it." Against my fear, I agreed. We walked slowly under the pouring rain. He held his jacket above my head like an umbrella. Drops hit my cheeks and our shoulders brushed. My heart jumped at the touch, but I said nothing, only walked faster. At the cafe, warm lights welcomed us. The smell of coffee and fresh bread filled the air. I sat near the window while he ordered 2 hot chocolates. When he returned, steam rose from the cups. He introduced himself. His name was Adrian. I told him mine, and he repeated softly, "Clara." The way he said it made me feel noticed. As we talked, I learned he was new to the city too. A group of friends laughed loudly in the corner while music played softly. For the first time that night, I felt safe, though my heart still raced. We spoke for an hour about work, life, and little dreams. He told me he liked old books and long walks, and I shared stories of my small hometown. Outside, the rain continued, drops sliding on the window like tears. When I shivered, he offered his scarf. I refused, but he gently placed it on my shoulders. His fingers brushed my skin for a second, and it sent a warm shock through me. I quickly sipped my drink, avoiding his eyes. But he kept looking, silent, like he was searching for something inside me I couldn't name. When the rain slowed, we stepped outside. The street was wet and shiny with city lights. Adrian walked beside me until we reached a quiet corner. Suddenly, thunder rumbled again, and a car splashed water over us. I laughed nervously, but before I could move, he pulled me close. My breath caught. In that second, under the dripping streetlight, his lips touched mine quickly, firmly, without asking. I froze, shocked, my heart racing louder than the thunder. He pulled back slowly, whispering, "I'm sorry. I couldn't stop myself." The moment burned inside me, and I didn't know what to feel. If you're still watching, it means the story has touched you. Don't keep it to yourself. Share this video now. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe to Glorious English and join me every week on this journey of emotions and simple English. I stepped back, touching my lips, still warm from his kiss. My breath was short, my face hot, though the night was cold. Adrian looked nervous, his hands in his pockets. For a moment, silence stood between us, broken only by dripping rain from the roof. I whispered, "You shouldn't have." He lowered his eyes and said softly, "I know, but I wanted to." My heart was confused. Part of me was angry, another part was curious. A bus drove by, spraying puddles, and the moment ended. I walked ahead quickly, hoping the noise would hide my feelings. Adrian followed slowly, keeping space. The street was quiet now, lights glowing on wet ground. I stopped near a bookstore, pretending to look at the window. He came closer and asked gently, "Do you hate me now?" His voice was unsure, almost shy. I turned and said, "I don't know what I feel." He sighed, running a hand through his wet hair. Inside the shop, people laughed while turning pages. That normal sound made me ache for safety. Adrian looked at me and said, "I can walk away if that's what you want." His words pulled my chest tighter. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I walked into the bookstore. Warm air and smell of paper surrounded me. Adrian came inside too, but stayed 2 aisles away. I picked a book, my hands shaking, and pretended to read. A little child ran past, bumping into me, and I almost dropped the book. Adrian caught it and handed it back, his fingers brushing mine. I whispered, "Thanks," avoiding his eyes. That small event broke the silence, but my heart still raced. I left the store quickly, and he followed outside again, like a shadow I couldn't escape. The rain had stopped, but puddles still shone under streetlights. Adrian asked, "Can I at least take you home safe?" I hesitated, then nodded, afraid but also unwilling to walk alone. On the way, we passed a small food truck. The smell of hot pretzels filled the air. My stomach growled again, and he smiled, buying one for me. I wanted to refuse, but took it quietly. We shared bites as we walked. That small act felt oddly soft, like we were two strangers pretending to know each other. Yet the kiss still burned inside, refusing to fade. When we reached my street, I stopped at the corner. Adrian looked at me, his face half in shadow. He said, "Clara, I don't want to hurt you. I just felt something I couldn't hide." His honesty made my chest heavy. I said, "It's not that simple. You don't even know me." He nodded slowly, whispering, "Maybe, but sometimes one night feels louder than years." His words shook me. I wanted to walk away, but my legs stayed still. A dog barked nearby, breaking the silence, reminding me I was still standing too close to him. I finally said goodnight and walked toward my building. Yet before entering, I turned and saw him still standing there, watching quietly, like he was making sure I was safe. That look stayed with me as I went upstairs. In my small room, I sat by the window, watching the wet streets below. I touched my lips again, remembering his sudden kiss. I felt angry, scared, but also alive. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Sleep well, Clara." My heart jumped. I realized Adrian had found a way to stay, even when he was gone. The next day, rain returned. While walking to work, I saw him again near the corner cafe. He waved gently but didn't come close. My cheeks flushed, and I pretended to look at the sky. Later, inside the cafe, he quietly paid for my coffee before leaving. The barista smiled and said, "Your friend seems sweet." I forced a smile but didn't correct her. That small act of kindness confused me even more. Was he dangerous or gentle? My heart refused to choose. That night, his kiss replayed in my mind like thunder I couldn't escape. Days passed, but the memory grew stronger. I realized the kiss had changed something in me. It was sudden, wrong, yet unforgettable. Adrian appeared sometimes, by the bookstore, near the bus stop, at the cafe. He never forced another touch, only gave small gestures, like holding doors or smiling from afar. I didn't know what this meant, but I knew the story wasn't finished. One night, I stood again under the rain, waiting. My heart whispered that the end would shock me, because sometimes strangers don't stay strangers forever. They become chapters you can never close. My story ends here, but your support writes the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Each time you do, you don't just help me. You bring one more emotional story to the world. Stay with Glorious English, where every story teaches English and touches the heart.